Joe Giudice here. Hope everybody's well. Anyway, I think I'm just going to sit down every week and just tell a little bit of my life, you know, from when I was a kid growing up with Teresa, my ex-brother-in-law, Joey Gorga, everybody, Richie Wakili. I mean, there's so much to tell, all right? It's going to take a long time. But at the end of the day, what do we have? We got nothing but time anyway, right? What do we got to do? We got to sit down. We got to listen to things that we're interested in listening to, right? So we just sit back, we tell a story, and make it interesting, But at least you're going to be hearing the truth and nothing but the truth, because I got nothing to lie about. I'm going to pick a random story here and there, you know what I mean? Because there's so many damn stories that I might even forget and tell the same story twice. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm going to try not to. All right, so, there's plenty of stories, from when I was a kid, like how we even migrated in the U.S., Before we even migrated in the U.S., my parents and Teresa's parents were friends in, back in Italy, you know what I mean, in the town that we grew up in. And that's, where they pretty much met. They knew each other. And Teresa's mom lived down the street, like literally, I think down the street from or Teresa's dad lived down the street from that was friends with my parents, uncles, and everybody like that. So they all grew. The house was right down. Teresa's father's house was right down, the one that I was renovating in Italy there. That house there was Teresa's father. So that's like literally 2 seconds from where all my family's at. So they all knew each other. They all grew up together. And, so history goes back, you know what I mean? Hundreds of years, you know what I mean, goes back. So that's how long their family knew our family. And, their family, everybody had a nickname, in Italy and, whatnot. My father was Bilyang. Teresa's father was Gendro Lugad, whatever the hell that means. So everybody had a nickname or whatever. And it's just it's just interesting how everything, came about and how me and Teresa got married and, ended up together after all these years, because Teresa's mother, didn't want me to marry her, you know what I mean? Didn't want her to marry me, because, listen, I was a delinquent when I was a kid, you know what I mean? I ended up turning out to be, a great guy, great dad and everything else. But I was a delinquent. I'm talking about between the ages of, maybe 5 to the age of, I would say 15, 16, I started turning my life around. 16 is when I started turning my life around. So, when I was a little kid, I was a scrappy little bastard. I used to like to beat up everybody, fight everybody, and that's all I did. You know what I mean? I would always pick on my brother, do this, do that. Pick on whatever friends I had. We always fought. That's just the way I was. You know what I mean? I was a scrappy little bastard. And Teresa's mom knew, and I always used to get in trouble. In school and this and that. So Teresa's mother was like, because we always hung out. Every weekend we were together. We'd she was always at my mother's house, or my mother was always at their house, you know what I mean? And we always just played as little kids growing up and doing all kinds of things together. We used to play house together. I used to play house. I used to be the father. Teresa used to be the mother. And my brother and my sister would be the kids, and they go to sleep, and then me and Teresa go hide in the closet and we play house. Most of the times we were hiding in the closet more so than playing house. Anyway. And that's what we did, every weekend, and, a lot of times, and then we'd go down the shore all the time, we'd go have, family gatherings, and, it was nice back then, all the families and everybody got together. It was real nice back in the day. And that's what we did, that's how we rolled back then, everybody did, then, all the kids would just hang out and play, and, we didn't have to worry about, nobody really worried about anybody getting hurt, or it was just different then, you know what I mean? Everybody just ran into the mountains or over here, because we had like little mountain area, where we lived, You know, when we first came to America, you know, we were right across the street from the, you know, the Great Falls of Patterson, which is the second largest falls, believe it or not, in, I believe in the United States, besides Niagara Falls. I believe Patterson Falls is the second, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm pretty sure it is. All right. So anyway, it's called the Great Falls of Patterson. It was a very, it's a historic spot, and everybody goes there to visit, and still goes there to visit and check it out. And I mean, it's a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I mean, every time I brought a girl there, I always got lucky. You know what I mean? Then they had Garrett Mountain, which was another historic area in Patterson where, you know, I grew up basically in Patterson, and then we had all these historic, beautiful places. You know what I mean? And they were all right there. Garrett Mountain. Everybody would go on the mountain and Garrett Mountain and picnic, and you had nice lakes, and everybody who would exercise, who would picnic, barbecue. Well, nice stuff back then, you know. You had the shores, you know. We always used to go to Sandy. Our place was always, when we were younger, was like Sandy Hook, you know, all those areas right there. You know what I mean? Go real close, and then we'd take like a vacation. Would be Wildwood was a big spot. You know what I mean? That we used to go on vacation on down the shore. That was the big spot back in the day. Wildwood. We always used to stay at the four winds or four whatever it was. Anyway, back a long time ago. And, you know, everybody would go down there, you know, Teresa's parents, you know, Teresa, the kids, you know, and, you know, we all did our thing, and we all hung out, and, I mean, it was nice, you know. Good times back in the day, definitely good times, you know. And then, you know, me and Teresa, you know what I mean, we always, you know, had a little thing for each other, you know what I mean? We always had a little thing for each other. So, I always said, you know, one day, you know, we're going to get married, you know, just random to say. You know what I mean? You know, Teresa and my mom were together that day. They were shopping, you know, wherever they were going. So they were in another vehicle. Obviously, this was my father's hunting vehicle that I was using. And it was a Saturday morning we took it. You know what I mean? So, well, they didn't even notice that they didn't even know that we took the vehicle. So maybe happened around 9, 10 o'clock. So we had to spend all day in jail. You know what I mean? Because there's no way of, back then there was no cell phones, no this and that. So we had to spend all day in jail. So me and Eddie were in jail all day from 10 o'clock in the morning till the afternoon when my mother got home with Teresa's mom, and they get the phone call. You know what I mean? Listen, we have, you know, your son over here and Eddie, and, you know, the vehicle's impounded, and my mother comes over there right away to the police station with Teresa's mom, and, you know, they open up the door, and I'm sitting in the gate. Eddie's on the other side. Actually, no, his father already came to get him. So I already saw him getting a beating on the way out. And I knew I was next. So my mother comes in with the shoe inside the cell. Boom, boom, boom. My mother used to wear these heels, right? She was the number one with the shoe. Forget about it. That shoe, when she took that shoe off, it was over. You knew that you were getting the beating of your life, all right? So she took the shoe off, and she was young. She was very strong, my mother. She was not a person you wanted to mess with at all. So she gets this shoe and starts hammering me with this shoe. Boom, 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 hitting me in front of the cops. The cops like, oh, take it easy, right? She's hitting me on the head, and wherever the hell she could hit me, she hit me with this shoe. So Teresa's mother's over there watching, and she's like, oh my God, you know, because Teresa's mom was always like, you know, a little not as crazy as my mother, you know. So anyway, we leave, and now we got to go get the vehicle out of the impound, and the whole nine before my father got home. Otherwise, it would have been another story. So they go, you know, we had to go to the impound, get the car out. You know, Teresa's mom drove the vehicle back, you know, right before my father got home. So my mother didn't say nothing to my father. Otherwise, I would have got another beat. Forget about it, you know. So she let me go one time. But once in a while, my mother would tell my father, you know, when I got in trouble, and forget about it. I get 2 beatings in one day. Not 1, but 2. And that was that, you know what I mean? So Teresa's mother was always there for the times that, you know, I did things wrong. She always happened to be there because she was always with my mother. So whenever I got in trouble, Teresa's mother was there. You know what I mean? I get suspended from school, Teresa's mother was there. So whatever problem there was, Teresa's mother was there, so she saw everything. You know what I mean? She saw me get beatings and beatings and beatings after beating. You know, back then it wasn't like today where you okay, you're in trouble, go to your room, you're gonna stay in your room all day, or give me your cell phone, you ain't getting your cell phone. No, 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 it ain't about that. It was all about you did something wrong back then, you got it, you got an ass whooping. All right, that was it. You got your ass beat like you never could imagine. All right, I mean my friends not so much, but they did too. You know what I mean? But not as bad. Nowhere near as bad. They would get a crack and whatever, get something thrown at them. I get everything thrown at me. Forget it. I would get like you name it thrown at me. You wouldn't even know. I remember in the morning one time before I went to school, I forgot what I said to my mother. All right, she literally threw like her shoe. All right. It was one morning before, I don't know what, I didn't want to put something on that she wanted me to, I don't know what the hell it was, but it was something. So now I'm running to go upstairs, all right? And she threw her one shoe and it just missed, right? So then I stick my head around the corner and I go, what do you think? You gonna hit me? All of a sudden the second shoe stuck right into my chin, the heel, right? I had to pull it out, and it was like bleeding all day. I go to school, the thing's bleeding. I got a Band-Aid over there, right? I should have got stitches, but anyway, the whole day this damn thing is bleeding, right? And I'm in school, going to the nurse, getting changed, coming back and forth, anyway. They asked me what happened. I said, as I was running, I hit the damn corner in that door over there, and I hurt my chin. You know what I mean? So because then right away they would send social workers to your house and this, that, and the other thing, and it was crazy things. All right. So anyway, and I would get suspended. So Teresa's parents were always there, like I said. So that day when I came home from school, of course, Teresa's mother was there having coffee with my mother. Oh, what happened? So my mother would be like this, hey, shut up your mouth, shut up your mouth, right? So I went, oh no, I got her, or whatever. But, she'd always be there and ask, and then, of course my mother would tell her, quietly, because she'd have to tell her, I can't tell her. So I'd always have to keep my mouth shut, I could never tell anybody anything, So whenever I got a beating, God forbid, I couldn't tell nobody, you know what I mean? But the people that saw it, like, the principals, the cops, eventually they sent social workers to my house. All right, this was the best. So now we're sitting at the table over there. These social workers come over there, and they're like, does your parents ever abuse you? Do this, do that. You ever they ever put their hands on you? I'm like, looking, I'm ready to say, yeah, my mother and my father over there biting their hands. You say one word and they go like this. They're literally biting their hands off, right? So I'm looking at him and I'm like, no, they never put their hands on me, And, then they're like looking or whatever. They're like, okay. So the social worker goes, turn around and look at him and like, are you sure? Right? And then as they turn their heads again, they're like, anyway, but not, saying anything, just biting their hands. Just that alone means don't you say a word or you're dead. All right. So, I would just keep my mouth shut. No. Nothing ever, nothing like that ever happened. Are you sure? Yeah. Do they give you what you need? Are you ever starved or anything? No. Which I never was starved, nothing like that. I had pretty much got whatever I wanted. I was just that kind of kid, you know what I mean?